It is 2nd versus 6, the Penrith Panthers and the Manly Warringah Seagulls, as the National Youth Competition continues here on Fox League. The home side with the first opportunity with the footy, and for the first time in a couple of hours, the sun pops its head for kickoff out through the clouds, and the temperature will rise just a couple of degrees. It's a little fresh, a little early in the day out here. Playing out to the right through Sam Martin-Savage. Oh, Dean Blore, the halfback, is whacked by Kiowa. That's Samisi's first tackle as an under-20s footballer, and he made it count. Dean Blore, the halfback, still in all sorts in back play. There's the right shoulder of Samisi Kiowa. This is Carl Winterstein. Up from the interchange. They go to Blore, downfield, right-hand side of the attacking field, and a good kick back, asking a few questions to Luke Polselli, who has gone straight through. One missed tackle undoes a lot of the good work Penrith had done in that opening set of 6.
Yeah, well, Blore copped a pretty big hit there from Kiowa on debut, and then comes away with a great kick, but that kick chase for the Panthers was pretty disappointing, and already the Seagulls are on the 50.
Going to the near side, Jaden Tarrant. He's a hard worker, this young fella. He will roll the sleeves up as long as he's asked to by Coach Wayne Lampkin. Daniela Paseka, Man Mountain. Balls dropped. Must be 6 again, I would assume. Play on is the call. There's a knock on. And Penrith perhaps let off the hook here. Manly's meter's just far too easy.
Yeah, David Tengatatoa, the coach for Penrith, won't be happy with that start defensively. They had a poor kick chase, which created a gap in the line, and then Manly made some easy yards through both of their front rowers, created some second phase. Unfortunately, it was Martin on this edge here, or Bainbridge, sorry, on this edge. Couldn't get the pass away, but danger signs early on for the Panthers.
Heads in.
Asked to do it all over again, Caleb Aikens, the fullback for the Panthers. Finally driven backwards. It's Kenny in the number 9 jersey today. If you're a regular watcher of NYC and a follower of the Panthers, you would have seen him initially from the interchange, but then in the lock forward position. Just looking for a little more size in the middle as David Tengatatoa. It was Vondell Williams, Leah Lavave. Here is Stefano Haller. He's a beauty, this big kid. Back to Kenny. They're over the 40-metre line. Carl Winterstein lumbers forward. He pushed off the right, but it didn't fool the defence. Numbers around the football. 4 Manly defenders limiting the metres there. They go back to Blore, who really had to rush his kick, and a very easy take for Luke Polselli. Proving dangerous already, Luke. 2 touches of the football, and both times it's looked likely.
Yeah, Pacelli there again gets the ball after a kick from Blore, comes back, and a staggered line by the Penrith defence, and he said he's already made 20 or 30 metres both times he brought that ball back.
Kick's not pinpoint. The bad kick can be masked with a good chase, and that has been lacking in the 2 kicks from the Panthers so far. Big Stefano Haller getting some attention on the run by the Penrith trainers. Made his way back into the defensive line. Here is right, straight through and all the way. Jade Anderson. Too good there from Manly. A pretty to watch try to open their account after just 4 minutes. Now, while Anderson may have the 4-pointer next to his name, put it down to the number 6. Brilliant.
Yeah, Tom Wright there. He gets the number 11, Izzard, going backwards and takes him on with pure speed and finds his winger in the corner. But it's just here on this replay, as we see, he throws his dummy and Izzard gets caught flat-footed, and the speed puts him straight on the outside. He carries it like he's carrying an orange there. Probably could have scored it himself, but finds his winger. And it's been a pretty dominant start by the Manly Seagulls.
Much of it has been from their first touch, Luke Polselli, but then into Tom Wright when they got a bit of front foot footy, played some nice eyes up stuff, and just carrying it in that one paw. An amazing natural talent to have, and the size of the hands, but made it look so easy, the kid. We're gonna have a look at Jade Anderson. We saw Manly going back a couple of weeks on the Gold Coast, and we watched this young goal kicker with great interest. And in commentary with us today, one of the great goal kickers of the modern era, Jamie Soward. We had a look at him pre-game. Beautiful movement. It's nice and smooth through the legs. Well, you be the judge on this first one, but has got a real timing about him in terms of goal kicking, and it doesn't get harder than this to open his account.
Nice hand, Dave. All right, mate.
Just pushed it out to the right-hand side, so it remains 4-0 here at Pepper Stadium.
How good was that from Tom Wright, guys? The footwork and the way he just held that ball. It's really good to see those young players just having so much confidence and taking the line on as well. Especially it's good to see Tom Wright this year in good form, because last year was such an injury-plagued season. He was recovering from a knee op and then fractured his cheekbone early in the year. So he's back, and it's certainly paying off because he's in some good form.
Nice first run from Tarrant, almost up to the 20-metre line. Jesse Martin in the middle of the field. Slow to his feet here, and yep. Penrith through Carl Winterstein, guilty of holding down just too long, and a huge relief and escape here for the Eagles. And just short of halfway, they're going to start this repeat set. We often talk about the importance of just completing a set after points. Well, Manly after points by the end of this set should be in a position of going back to back. Short side. Falls Andrews. Centre just takes the settler here. Polselli at dummy half to the first receiver, and Cast. He goes wide to Tommy Wright. Well contained this time around. Dean Blore pushing the patience of the referees. They go through Manu. Seka. Midfield, Cust. Continue wide, it's on here for the Eagles, and that is a try to Alfred Smalley on the right-hand side, and they are doing it easily. The Manly Warringah Seagulls.
Oh, another great try by the Manly Seagulls there. They went down that left-hand side, got cramped for room with Tommy Wright, but they had a beautiful sweeping movement. As you see on the replay here, the dummy half comes out and finds the halfback there in Cust, who has beautiful speed. And that man, Polselli, heavily involved, but the defence for the Penrith Panthers is looking pretty average at the moment. It could be a long afternoon if they're going to defend like that all day.
Cuss scored 3. Olakau'atu scored 2 in last week's 58 points to 12 win. Manly over the Warriors. And Jamie said pre-game they are playing with confidence. And we have seen that illustrated perfectly in the opening 8 or 9 minutes here at Pepper Stadium over one of the genuine competition heavyweights. Admittedly, Penrith are down on troops and well down. Confidence, just such an amazing thing in professional sport, as Jade Anderson lines up his second. We spoke about his strike earlier. We'll let Jamie explain after the kick what he'd like to see. Eight points to 0, looking to make it 10. That was hit a lot better. It is 10 points to 0. We're liking the legs. Golf swing, timing, perfect. You'd like to see the arms give him a little bit more balance.
Yeah, I'd like to see the arm just come into it. You see that left arm there on the replay really down low, so he's giving himself no momentum into the ball. which creates a real inconsistency. So that first kick you saw didn't really have the legs, whereas the second time comes through, he pushes through with his legs, and that time he kicks the goal.
With the arms comes the consistency, and you used Jonathan Thurston earlier as a great example of that.
Yeah, and any goal kicker that would have watched that one in Origin where he wasn't able to use his shoulder due to that injury knows how hard that would have been. So that's why it made it such a big kick. But, yeah, I'd like to see Anderson just work a little bit harder on getting that fluent momentum into the ball.
They lost 4 in a row between rounds 3 and 6, the Eagles. That has certainly changed around, and they've started here in the sunshine at Penrith. A very positive frame of mind. Ainu off to Cade Cust. Love the football this little fella in 7 has been playing over the course of this season. Talented young man. Go back to Tom Wright. Punches the ball downfield. Oh, and it is just about perfect, but there is one roll between a perfect kick and a dud kick, and unfortunately for Tommy, it was the latter.
Yeah, Aikens there chanced it. I thought he had the chance to get it on the full and really start his set off really positive for the Penrith Panthers, but he rolls dead. They will get 7 tackles now, so it's now Manly's chance to try and pin the Panthers down here and get the ball back.
Crossfield, Brian 2. Quick play the ball and a little bit of momentum here for the Panthers, and straight through Mossy Philo with the dummy. Bad read there from the Manly fullback, but big Mossy Philo, he has struck back for the Panthers. That's a beauty.
Oh, absolutely beautiful play down this short side. And you saw Martin Savage come down here. An early ball to Philo, the centre, who's just too big, too strong. He holds that ball out in front. We see now early ball to your centre. And it was a nice hole and just a poor miss on the wing there from, I think it was Smalley on this side. And then Philo does the rest. That'll put the Panthers back in it. But it was an easy play down this short side. You said Martin Savage here. Bainbridge got caught looking in, gets burnt for speed. A beautiful play from Philo.
Really well identified by these young athletes. Blake Andrews, the right centre, was caught at marker there. So they looked up and they saw a back rower and a centre together on the short side, and they thought, yes, this is us. And it was executed as perfectly as you can on the back of a very quick play the ball. And a day to remember for Mossy Philo. First career try as an under-20s player. Well done, young fella, big fella.
There's not too many of them, Andy, out there that aren't bigger than us. So we better stop calling them young fellas and start calling them big fellas.
They are giants. Even the 6s and 7s, the traditionally the smaller guys on the field, they are just monsters at this age. Here's one of the better ones, Dean Bloor. Front-on goal kicker. He adds the extras, 10-6, and their first real chance with the footy. They've come away with points, a gap of just 4 after 13 and a half minutes.
It's so good to see Mossy get that try, guys, because he couldn't get a spot in the side at the start of the year, and it's only really because they've had some injuries and a couple of players have gone up to the ISP that he's managed to get some game time, and he's now strung about 4 or so games together, so really good signs for him.
Oh no.
What were we saying earlier? Get to the end of your set after points. That's the bare minimum. Well, they couldn't get to the start of the set, unfortunately. Off the upright, awkward bounce, and a knock on there. And big Stefano Haller, he can do nothing else but smile. Trying to mask the embarrassment and the pain that he's feeling. And we've got a wide short side here. Is Manly going to roll the dice? They're set to the right-hand side, but they do go to the far side, and they look at Jade Anderson. So here's your chance. Penrith defence is good. Brian 2 and also Richie Munchow. Smisi Kiowa. Low centre of gravity is going to be really difficult to stop in situations like this. It goes to Faionu. Back on the inside to the 19. Big Taniela Paseka The giant starting front row, but in jersey 19.
Well, amazing replay, Andy. You called it there. We thought it was the number 19, but it's Paseka there who comes back in on a cross play, and it's really some poor defence. You got Winterstein, Blore, looking 4-5 defenders there from the Penrith Panthers. Too big, too strong. And they started that off a lot earlier with the set there between Tarrant and Paseka, who set the tone for this Seagulls side. And you see there a real poor effort in defence, but they've been really dominant, this Seagulls front rowers, to start off this game. And it's an easy try after what put Penrith back in the game with some pretty soft defence.
Number 5 for the season for Big Taniela. Trying to figure out why he's wearing jersey 19. Not that it matters, but I'm quite sure he warmed up in number 10.
I'm pretty sure he warmed up number 10. We've just got someone phoned up. The number 10 wasn't big enough for him, so they've had to put him in the 19. It was a bigger jersey, but anyway, he's got himself on the scoreboard today as we see Anderson line this one up.
He must have had a decent breakfast, and the 10 jersey just a little tight and restricting blood flow. Here is Anderson. 2 from 3 for his afternoon so far. 16 and a bit minutes and 16 points to 6. Yeah, there could be some points here today. You just get that feeling.
Well, it's quite unusual for the Panthers because they're actually the best defensive side in the comp. So, I mean, I don't know what it is. Do you think, Jamie, possibly the fact that it's a bit of unfamiliarity because they're missing 6 of their starters?
Yeah, it's an interesting point if you see another penalty here. So they've had 2 errors, one off the kickoff and now an offside, which is unforgivable if you're a coach. But it's interesting because that first time on the right-hand side, as we see the replays, 2 or 3 metres in front, Andy, but on that right side, Tom Wright burnt them for speed.
Yep.
So they fixed that up. They went down there. Then they come to the right-hand side, and you saw Brown get burnt for speed on this side. So there's some combinations out there that aren't really used to playing together, so they will have to fix that up on the run. But Manly are going to have another attacking set, 30 out, and it's already 16-6.
3 tries for Manly inside the opening 17 minutes. Inside the opening 20 minutes, combined all year, Panthers have only conceded 11 tries. Manly have scored 3 already, and it could very well be 4, and almost 40% of that total here in one go. Playing out to the left-hand side again, Tarrant. Right, playing on the inside is Josh Martin, who straightens. 2-man tackle there from Panthers. They need to make it. Cust goes wide to Blake Andrews. He thought about tossing it on to Alfred Smalley, his winger, decided against it. Comes back through Cust to the lock for Jesse Martin this time. Panthers are short on both fringes. They've heavily stacked the middle.
Good.
They go the middle. And they get points. Blake Andrews is claiming it. The referee's all smiles. And he awards it. 4 tries in 18 and a half minutes. It's Manly's day today.
Yeah, it is Manly's day at the moment. You're going to see some smart play from the hooker here, Fayanu. He does what Jake Friend did last night, and the big centre Andrews comes through and scores. But again, that could have been preventable from the Penrith Panthers. They need to be able to get on that ball. You're going to see Aikens waiting for it to go dead, and the winger here, Brown, should have come across and done better there. But you've got to give some real credit to Fayanu with the kick and the chase. Andrews just wanted it more, and they come up with another try, the Manly Seagulls, and that'll be 20-6 with a kick to come.
I don't think even the most optimistic of Manly under-20 supporters would have seen this coming today against one of the real powerhouses of under-20s football. Panthers have won the last 6 head-to-head games, 9 of the last 10. That includes the grand final in 2015 where these 2 sides met. Geez, Manly were sensational that year and beat the Cowboys in the eliminator down in Melbourne. Don't know what happened last year. They collected the spoon only 12 months after contesting the grand final. And the way they're playing, with the confidence they're playing, maybe a a top 4 spot beckons over the next week or two. Who knows, a grand final certainly there. There are plenty of ups and downs and momentum shifts in the under-20s comp over the next couple of months.
Yeah, there's a long way to go in this competition. Obviously, the Sharks and the Dragons have sort of poked their head above the rest. They've got a lot of talent. I've watched them in recent weeks. You've got names like Flanagan, Saylor for the Dragons who have been impressive. So the thing for Penrith now is important. They just need to have a set where they get the ball back. Sometimes it's hard, Andy, to get the momentum back, but you just need to stop it in defence, and then don't worry about the scoreboard. If you can get one back, then you concentrate on just playing your sets out.
Well, Carl Winterstein starting with a good shoulder there. That's solid stuff from Penrith. They certainly need it. Tommy Skinner also involved in that tackle. Here is Billy Bainbridge. Right-hand side footy here. A little more intent here from the Penrith line. While the contact was good, they didn't stop the ball movement. And Manly on tackle number 3, despite the improved defence, are already up over the halfway line. Through Cust to the try scorer Paseka, back to the number 7, who pops his head through the line. Had Wright on the outside, Polselli on the inside. And it was those two men, Wright and Polselli, combined for the mistake. Oh, that is a huge let-off for Penrith.
Oh, massive let-off and bad pass here by Passelli. Really just reached for it there, and he knows he throws his hands to the head because they had a real chance on that short side. The fullback Aikens for Panthers had come up into the line, so there's a real chance to be able to kick him behind and apply some more pressure. But, geez, it's looking ominous every time they get the ball, the Seagulls. They look like they're going to score.
Cool. Just wait here, mate. Don't go early. Hold 11. Wait. Wait.
Talking about the evenness of the Holden Cup this year, there's probably only 2 teams already out of the finals race in the Tigers and the Warriors. There's probably 3 sides that are guaranteed spots. That means there's 11 teams within 9 points of each other, genuinely in a battle for the 5 remaining final spots. It will go down to round 26 and potentially deep into round 26. As Tom Skinner knocks on midway through the count. And from the restart, we are already back into Penrith territory. Another try scorers in Andrews. Both sides with a 75% completion rate at this stage. Manly have just had so much more of the football. Fainu to Bainbridge. Had a look at getting the ball free, but in a tackle of 3, proved a little difficult. Fainu again. Here's the dummy half, uses decoy runner back at the angle. Custer's taking a nice one-on-one shot. Short side crack here through Tom Wright, which takes him out of the equation for the final play. So they're going to be looking for Cade Cust on the open side.
Good.
Off his left boot. Finds the Eagles. They are still alive. And good defence. Desperate defence there from the Panthers. Daniel Brown it was in jersey number 5. He had to make the tackle. It was as simple as that.
He had to make the tackle. You're exactly right, Andy. And it was a great kick from Cust. It was right on the money. And for young halves watching at home, that's where you want to kick the ball. 1 or 2 metres out. Not so Brown couldn't get a run at the ball there, and they come up with a result where they get the ball. They need to complete this set. The Penrith Panthers.
And by kicking just short of the line, it also takes out of the equation the 7 tackle resumption.
It does, and it's a real gripe of mine, the 7 tackle. It takes the real attacking kicks. As we see a penalty now for the Penrith Panthers for a high tackle, but it takes the attacking kicks out of the game. It takes our young halves out of the game because they're too scared to kick the ball dead. But you saw Cuss there. He's obviously done the work, and he puts it 2 metres out. A great kick, but they just couldn't get a result.
Chance for Penrith here. 25 minutes gone. It is 4 tries to 1 in favour of the Eagles, 22 points to 6. This is Carl Winterstone. What the Panthers have not done is settle into any type of rhythm. Over the top. That's good. It's better than good.
Yeah, I'm happy that the defender went.
It's a beauty. Brian, 2 on the right side on the first play for the Panthers. He collects their second. They're into double figures, still a long way to go, but just a little glimpse of what this Penrith 20 side is all about.
Yeah, you're going to see a replay here. Bloor goes to the line, out the back to Aitkins, and this is what every fullback in the game practices and has to be good at, is being able to pick the right option. He goes straight across the face there to 2, who has a magnificent finish and gets the ball down, but that was too easy for the Panthers. And I guess both sides are guilty of playing a little bit of you score, I score. You know, no defence. There's no back-to-back sets of being able to hold off their line. So, good play from the Penrith Panthers, but I'm sure the Sea Eagles would be disappointed that it only took 2 plays before that try was scored.
Over the generations, we see the changing of positions in terms of what makes up a good player in a certain position. We saw Bradley Clyde really redefine the lock forward role in the early 1990s. We've seen second rowers really change the game over the last decade, but the most recent one is the ball playing fullback, and they are everywhere now. And if you want to be a good fullback, you don't have to just be a good kick returner. You have got to have one hell of a passing game. Yeah,
as we see Bloor line up this kick, you've got to have 2 aspects to your game. You've got to be able to ball play, as you said, Andy, but also be a defensive fullback.
Yep.
And I think that's what Penrith are blessed with Dylan Edwards in the top grade.
Agreed.
He is a fantastic defensive fullback, but also has the right options to be able to go short and long.
Oh, you could hear the moan of Dean Bloor there. Knew immediately he'd struck it poorly, and the difference remains a dozen. 22 points to 10 after 27 minutes. Back to halfway we come. Intrust Super Premiership. Up after this game, and
Must stay on here.
the NRL. Oh, I still don't know who to tip or why. They've avoided a disaster there. It wasn't far off it again from the kickoff for the Panthers.
We were both just about to fall off our seats as we saw that ball head for the crossbar. But yeah, it's an important day for Penrith in all 3 grades, because at the first grade you want to be able to have people pressuring for spots.
Yeah.
The under-20s have been successful, but they're struggling a little bit at the moment. The ISP have had some good wins, but again, had some players down, as we see Izzard down that right-hand side. Look, Penrith season's on the line today in first grade, to sum it up, Andy. I think South, they're out now. They played like that last night. And for me, Penrith's season is on the line today against Manly.
Yeah, it could very well be as simple as that. So much pressure on the Panthers, internally and externally. But trying to stop Manly, easier said than done. They've been sensational so far this year, and coming off a really character-building win over the Warriors last start. The Eagles here knock on from the bomb, and looking to go back-to-back here, Penrith. Have a big chance. They're going to have set of 6 right in the go zone, and poor Blake Andrews didn't deserve this.
Well, it wasn't his best effort.
No.
He didn't really get underneath that, did he? He sort of half pulled away. Didn't know whether he wanted to catch it or not. So we see a quick stoppage in play. But you're right, Andy. Back to the Panthers. If they were to look, they've got 6 out of their last 9 home games. Games at home. So they have got that advantage.
Yep.
But you don't want to get to a case where you have to win 5 out of your last 6, because then I think you start to play like that.
Yep.
You can really tighten up. So, and I've been in that situation. And if you lose one, then you're like 5 from 5. So it's a massive day. They'll get a massive crowd here. Just on a different note, be interested to hear your thoughts. The recounting of the Pacquiao-Horn fight. What have you made of that?
Well, they can count all they want.
He's still the champion.
They can count all they want, and the title will remain in Brisbane, and Jeff Horn will be the #1 in the world in the division. It's turned into a bit of a circus, hasn't it? It seemed post-match Manny was, although disappointed. He accepted that you know, the judges had ruled as they had. But, I think there's been a little bit of whispering in Manny's ear as the farewell tour continues, and the Filipino senator is looking for a little bit more of a payday, and whether it's a rematch with Jeff down the track or something in the US, who knows. But congratulations to Jeff, who's spent some time in with the Queensland Maroons over the course of the last couple of days, as their preparation for the State of Origin decider intensifies up north of the border. 15 is Jermaine Hopgood on for Penrith Panthers. Winterstein, he was raced up upon there. Determined defence by Jesse Martin. Kenny wrapped up in a tackle of 4 again, and when there's 4 around the ball, it means there are holes somewhere else in the line, and the Panthers think it's to the right. It's where Dean Bloor is looking, and he was so close. A great tackle. Bainbridge, out on that far side of the field, did brilliantly there. And an attempted kick there. And an accidental offside. Are we talking? By Penrith, I think.
Yeah, I think it was the hooker there. Kenny come out, accidental offside, kicks it into the play the ball, as we see a replay now.
Hold!
Yeah, accidental offside. Play on, but it was a poor set, really, after we see an error now. So Panthers back on the attack.
Poor set, 1 error, and it's time to go again for the Penrith Panthers. So much pressure on the Eagles here at the half-hour mark. 4 tries to 2, and a knock-on from the Eagles. That was Jesse Martin's, and he knows it. He raced up to put pressure on. He raced to the football, but then he hurried his hands instead of taking his time.
Yeah, he did. There was some pressure from Braselli there, and young Martin just needed to dive on that ball. And you see it so often in first grade. Instead of trying to pick that up and go the length, just get on the ball. It can be a real match turner. They're the little 1%ers that you need to be able to do to take the pressure off. They could have had the ball back and be rucking it out of their own end.
The possession is slowly starting to even itself out. It was up to 70-30% in favour of Manly, probably only about 12, 13 minutes ago. Now we're almost at a 50 split. We're not going to get any better chances. This is effectively a repeat set for Penrith. Caleb Aikens driven to the ground, dragged towards the touchline. Hopgood. Tackled nicely by Olakau'atu, jersey number 14 on the field. Muscling forward, trying to get through the meat of the Manly pack here are the Panthers. Trying to draw the defenders in to open it up out wide a little. Oh, they're making it really hard on themselves here, Penrith. Taking the ground as the try scorer, Fialo. They've lost the best part of 20 metres on that play. Execution is off today, and this is Tom Skinner trying to just settle everything down. It's on to the right here for Penrith if they're good enough. They've got the numbers over Manly. The grubber through has turned the Eagles around. Touched as the call, and a dropout, so they've forced the repeat set. Manly have held on only just, but their defence good.
Yeah, they've held on. We see a nice little touch there from Izzard on that right edge. A kick to get a repeat set, but it was a scrappy set from the Panthers. They didn't really know what to do. They had a set play where it was Fialo who'd come out to this side and just passed the ball without looking. But what really stood out for me was Pacelli, heavily involved, up making a few tackles. A really chance there to go in behind with no fullback, but he was involved in a couple of crucial tackles.
The restart over halfway. It's almost the norm these days. Here comes Carl Winterstein. He's again running the junior Tepai Maroa hairstyle. He can run like Big Teps, he's doing well, and the big fella will be in action when the Eels travel to Amy to play the Storm. Later tonight, live on Super Saturday. Sam Martin Savage lining them up out to the left and letting them do their thing. Kenny pushing off a couple. 16 is Mick Travell. Buckled over and rolled onto his back mid-count here. This Manly defence is to be admired as Bloor looks inside, plays outside, finds Aikens, who was whacked. Slow to his feet. Kenny, Bloor. Rubber through, was it played at? The answer's no. Was it knocked on? Well, the answer's yes. So they're going to get another crack here, the Panthers.
Yeah, and they're just, well, I said it before, the set before, Tom Wright really needs to just dive on that ball. He tries to scoop it up and make the big play. And if you want to play first grade, they're the balls you need to pick it. He just needs to dive on that ball. He's done all the work. It was a poor kick from Bloor. The pressure had been applied by Jesse Martin, but they're going to defend their set again. They are holding them out well, but you'd have to think that Penrith would have to come up with a set play here and punish the Seagulls.
They haven't shown us anywhere near their best this afternoon, the Panthers. Manly on their game. Hopgood from the scrum. Drives and pushes his way inside the 10-metre line. Wide to Martin Savage. Long ball, good ball. Daniel Brown scores. All four wingers with tries so far today. That's Daniel Brown's 13th try in 13 games.
Oh, we're going to see an absolute pearl here from Martin Savage, and the winger for the Seagulls, Smalley, caught in no man's land. And we have a look at this. Looks up, beautiful pass right on the chest. And Brown, well, the man buns, they've got one each this afternoon. But it had to happen. The Seagulls will defend their line 3 or 4 sets, and that's the punishment you get for not diving on that loose ball 2 sets in a row. It was a beautiful cutout pass from Martin Savage.
I think that takes to 13, equals second on the try-scoring list so far this year in the under-20s. Sione Katoa 16 for the Sharks. And there's a group on 13, Flanagan, Brownbill and Brimson. He's up there in elite company as young Daniel Brown, who himself is a really good indicator of just how strong this Penrith system is and has been, in particular for the last 2 years. I know the previous under-20s coach, Cameron Ciraldo here, he said repeatedly, this Daniel Brown is such a good footballer. He is so versatile and can play anywhere, but because we've got such a strong team, he's not getting a start. But if he was at any of the other 15 clubs, he's probably played 50 NYC games. He's getting his chance on a regular basis this year, and he's doing very well. There's Dean Bloor. 1 from 2, make it 1 from 3. I think the crow just flew over then. Either that or Dean was really unhappy with that strike.
Wasn't his best strike.
No.
He comes a little bit too straight onto the ball. You mentioned it when he kicked from in front there, but it can prove crucial. Last night, the Roosters 2 from 6 in the under-20s for a 24-all draw with South Sydney. So goal kicking is a crucial aspect of the game, even this early in the game. Yeah, it could be a one try game, but it's 2.
Back-to-back weeks of draws for the Rabbitohs.
Yeah.
Under-20s.
And just on the siren too, the Roosters across, they've gone across, but again 2 from 6. And you see Izzard make another carry. And then put themselves back in the game, the Panthers, after a very slow start.
Yep, haven't they? Manly's not so much ill-disciplined, but their error counters crept right up. And they have just opened the door a little bit for the Panthers, and the Panthers have kicked it down and stormed on in. And probably going to get the last possession of this opening 40 minutes.
Use the cross.
And Manly, the boys will be looking for a corner of the dressing room to cry in if the Panthers go in here, because at 22-6, Manly had everything under control. Martin Savage plays back to the middle. Kenny and Ravel looking to spin out of the tackle and get over the line. He couldn't quite get there. They go out through Bloor, short ball to Izzard. In game number 50, he's claiming points.
Strip.
And it's a strip. That wasn't a penalty, try being blown. A minute to go. They'll get their 6 tackles in. They start through Stefano Haller. He winds it up on his hands and knees, almost praying for points. Oh, he's got the cramp there.
He needs to get up.
The foot won't bend. The ankle won't bend. Oh, good hands, Martin Savage. It was a poor pass from dummy half. They go to Bloor. He goes a little wider to find Richie Munchow with 20-odd seconds remaining. They'll get 2 more shots only. Izzard denied once, pops it over the back to Munchow. He gets met and slammed to the ground. So they had a look down the short side. It wasn't to be. Probably the last chance here for the Panthers in this opening half. Martin Savage with the kick and a knock on. A poor way to end the half for the Penrith Panthers. Relief for the Seagulls. The siren sounds. That is half-time. 4 tries to 3. The Eagles over the Panthers, 22 points to 14. We are live on Fox League, and this is the second half of the Holden Cup between the Penrith Panthers and the Manly Seagulls. 22 points to 14 at half-time. 4 tries to 3 in favour of the visitors, who in that opening 25 minutes looked $1 million with the football in hand. And they looked $1 million defensively at the back end of the half. They held out the Panthers on repeated sets right up until that half-time siren. Good defence from Penrith, coming up as a line, coming up fast, getting in the grill of the Manly faces, really limiting their metres and pressuring the first receiver. Cust, as a result, on tackle number 4, pumps it downfield. It's allowed to bounce, then taken by Caleb Aikens, who should get close, if not over, the 40-metre line. A really good defensive set gives them the territorial advantage 1 set in.
Yeah, that'll please the Panthers coach. Coming out after half-time, they're going to bring the ball back on the 50. Cust really didn't get a hold of that one there, so an early attacking chance for the Panthers.
We'll check with Emma on the sideline at some stage, but I would suggest Penrith may have a little advantage in terms of the breeze in this second half, which is maybe why Cust didn't get a whole lot of that football on the first kick. Out of dummy half goes Kenny. He finds Stefano Haller. Really good leg drive, especially after contact for big Stefano, and regular. Bloor takes it to the line, spits it back and straight to the hands of Manasseh Fonua.
Yeah, Bloor there went to the line. I think he was thinking pass, then he changed his mind to kick and then got caught with a poor option. Usually it's your first instinct to go with. If you want to kick, just go with that. That's usually the best option. But a poor set, and then after that is a great defensive start for the Panthers.
Already Taniela Paseka coming on as an interchange just 2 minutes into the second half, so you would suggest or almost guarantee that this is an injury, and a significant one for the Eagles, who are using the ball well on the right-hand side of the field. Molly Olakau'atu eventually taken down in jersey number 14. There is a heap of this young man. He's a big kid. Across field is the kick. Paseka claiming it. He's got it, but it's a knock on, and back to the 20 we come. However, we have got a player down back on the other side of halfway, so no quick restart here for Penrith. And it's one of the Panthers.
Might be Kenny. down there. It was a great set from Manly, as we see on the replay. Paseka had a real chance to get that ball down.
He is a giant of a kid.
Oh, my goodness. And we said earlier, the number 10 didn't fit him, so they had to put the 19 on him. It's days like today watching these young kids that makes me happy that I'm retired, because they're getting so much bigger. Just think he's going to be running at a little 85-kilo halfback in a couple of years and terrorising him. But there might be a chance now to check on the sideline now with M and see if there's any breeze down there.
Yeah, the breeze actually has picked up a bit, Jamie, so it is getting a little bit colder here as well. I'll go and check on Billy Bainbridge too, because he's obviously got some kind of injury. I think it might actually be a HIA, because the officials are following him around. Just a little halftime update too. The message from Manly was defence, defence, defence. They were not happy with those tries let in at the end, and it was the same for the Panthers, really. They're not happy. It's a sort of ongoing theme in the 20s, isn't it? They like to attack, but defence is always hard to come by.
Oh, you're 100% right, Emma. It's been the whole, I guess, gripe of the competition since its inception a long time ago, is that points are just too easy to come by, and you see a lot of 40, 38, Andy, and it makes it frustrating for the guys that are coming into first grade, and that's probably why the success rate has been so low from 20s to first grade. And with the competition going to a statewide reserve grade next year, I believe that will produce a lot more first graders going forward. And I know the Panthers coach, David Tangatoa, spoke about that, and the guys that he's got up there, because you get the chance to play against men on a regular basis who aren't playing first grade, who have maybe played 50 or 100 games and just not informed. So that was the old school way that I came through. I played 2 seasons of reserve grade, and I found it better for my body and the longevity in the game that you'll be able to have if you're playing against men all the time on a regular basis.
I certainly agree in principle with a genuine reserve grade competition. I'll use, we spoke about Manny Pacquiao, Jeff Horn earlier. I'll use another boxing analogy that actually Alan Tung, who does a lot of community work with young troubled kids, threw at me, which I agree. Boxing, for all its negatives, often overlooked as how many difficult, troubled young kids it's put on the straight and narrow through discipline, through goal focusing, goal management, and got them going on the right road, not necessarily in boxing, but in life. We've got a couple of hundred kids every year that aspire to and do play under 20s football. If there is nothing as an 18, 19 or 20-year-old to immediately focus on, are we going to lose them to rugby league? We certainly hope not. But is there going to be a lack of discipline in their lives where they may, deviate or travel down that wrong road? And I think there's probably a happy medium there somewhere, and it's certainly something the NRL are looking into. But more importantly, Jermaine Hopgood has been stretchered from the field, is in the very best of hands, had entire medical staff for the Panthers out there, and the Panthers doc, who we both know well and have for a number of years, as good as they come, and Normie was on the scene very quickly there.
Tell you what, I'm watching these people come in. I know it's a little bit chilly down there, but there's a nice crowd building, so there's anticipation, because Manly in great form in first grade. And the Panthers pretty much, as we said, Andy, with their season on the line. So you'd have to think that this could be one of the biggest games of the year, because you know that Panthers can score points, and you know that Manly's in good form.
It is massive, and we wish Jermaine all the very best. We'll get an update on his injury, hopefully before full time here, and needless to say, all thinking of him and hoping everything's precautionary more than anything else at this point in time. 14 Ray Maroon is on for the Penrith Panthers, and a regular in the top grade, starting and from the interchange. That's him at dummy half again.
Hold the goal on the left.
So they're not going to lose anything in terms of combination here. They might actually be able to extract a few positives from him. Introduction into the game with his speed and his sharp darts out of dummy half. This is the 9, Mitchell Kennedy, who moves, I guess, back into a lock forward position. This is Haller. Stefano met in a good strong tackle. Jesse Martin Again, that is strong stuff from the number 13. Ably assisted by Taniela Pasaka. And that is horrible. Poor communication, poor execution from the Panthers on the final play. They had a chance to do something here. Look at this from Martin again.
He really drops the right shoulder in there and gets great connection on Huller. And again, Blaw's come down this short side. I thought they had the opportunity, the Panthers, to really double up and go down that left edge, the right edge for the Seagulls. But the halfback, Martin Savage, just missed that opportunity. So that'll be something they have to keep an eye on, but Blaw needs to fix up his last play options.
They've won 3 of their last 4, have the Manly Warringah Seagulls. The only loss is to Cronulla, and they're 3 points clear at the top of the ladder. So form lines are good for Manly. They're going to be tested over the next 35 minutes here as they play to the right through Cust. Olakau'atu gets up to the 10-metre line and beat half a dozen in the process. It's all Manly here. They're over the line, but not down. Manase Fonu held up somehow. They look certain to score. Cust pumps it across field and it falls safely into the hands of Richie Munchow. And haven't they missed one there, the Eagles?
Oh, they have. There was an opportunity. I thought he could have passed there. Fanu went himself, and then Cust comes up with a poor kick. It was a beautiful run by Olakau'atu. He did the old Maori step. He went straight over the fullback, and Aiken stood his ground. A great fullback tackle, but danger signs again on that left edge for the Panthers.
Maroon into dummy half. Played back by Munchow. On to the big 19 on debut, John Kafusi. A great story about this young fella that we will tell you about in the next break of play, and we'll get a good look at him too on his debut day, his very special day. Maroon back to Blaw, more successful this time. Up it goes, a test at the back for Polselli, and young Luke is certainly up to it again. He's been very good, Luke Polselli.
He's been excellent at the back. He's had a couple of little bobbles there or non-communication with his back three, but other than that, he's been outstanding. And you mentioned young Kafusi there. I played with his older uncle, Antonio, overseas, so it looks like the continuation of that generation of Kafusis is going to be in the NRL, of course, Felice Kafusi down at Melbourne.
Certainly is. Famous name, good lineage. An even better story as Manly cross the halfway line through Josh Martin. A nice inside ball from Tom Wright. We have arrived at the 5th play and Manly go back to Wright. And his right boot, well taken and swamped on, was Daniel Brown, one of the try scorers from the opening half. He was under pressure there. This is now Brian 2. The wingers both mixing it in the middle of the field and helping their centre men out. So we've gone winger, fullback. Time for a front rower? No, time for a centre. Mossy Filo. So we're yet to see a forward take it up this set. Finally we do. Tom Skinner. Now the referee's hand is raised. Last tackle, Maroon. Out of dummy half and was left with no option, no alternative, and a difficult kick that gave his teammates no chance of scoring.
Yeah, Maroon there come out there with a rush of blood on the last play. And you'd have to say both teams coming up with some poor options towards the back of their sets in a game that was so open in that first half, Andy, but it's really tightened up. I think both teams have gone a little bit more conservative, but their last play options need to be a lot better if they're going to get the win for either side.
Cust. Olakau'atu. Ikamoli. Get used to 3 bringing him down because that will be the case for the remainder of the day. Up we go from Cust. Oh, this has got bad intentions written all over it. But Caleb Aiken, superb at the back. His body positioning great. He read it well. And under pressure took a very good catch.
A great catch from Aikens, wasn't it? A beautiful kick from Cust. we spoke about just then recently, their last play options for both sides, and they get a torpedo bomb there. I'd like to see one team kick early, try and turn the screws, try and get an error down there and spend some time down on the other opponent's line.
Well, we do have a moment. Let's go down to the sideline. Emma's been running around and chasing injury reports, and we've got a couple in.
We do, Andy. So Jermaine Hopgood, he had some tingling in his lower back, so taking him off on a stretcher was just a bit of a precaution, but they're hoping it's not too bad. And Billy Bainbridge has a bruised sternum, so he's got some ice on it and probably won't be back, but they're not sure at this stage.
Boselli again, good under the high ball, then driven backwards. So that's bad news for Billy Bainbridge, who has again been very consistent today, but a bruised sternum, and we know that 99% of times once you get the ice out, that is your day done. More importantly though, Jermaine Hopgood sounds, and we hope it sounds just very much like a burner.
Yeah, he's in the best of hands there with Norm Southern, as he spoke about, Andy. So for all his family and friends that are watching, we'll try and get a report as soon as we can. But yeah, hopefully everything goes okay.
Good run there from Al Smalley. This is the hooker. So Fainu. Last tackle now, right on the 50-minute mark. End over end it goes, and safely into the hands of Caleb Akins. Had one stoppage early in this second half, otherwise it's been ball continuous in play, and they are literally punching it out for the territorial advantage. Neither side has had a massive crack at points in this second half as yet. They're just trying to get the upper hand there. They're playing patient footy. They're playing first-grade mentality footy.
Yeah, they are, and we saw then another kick from Cuss. So they're just trying to get through their sets. Just wait to see how long before a team actually gets there and throws some shape. Play 2, play 3.
Yep.
Tries to skin them on the edges as we see the Panthers shift it right.
Izzard. Oh, it's 2-on-1 on this right-hand side. Reid Izzard still going. There's not a whole lot of Reid, another famous name in rugby league, especially out these parts. Not a whole lot of him, except for the ticker that is. There's plenty of that. Boselli into the shadows of Martin Savage. Not only took it, he then bolted up over the 30-metre line. Advantage Manly, and if they're quick enough and desperate enough, they're going to be in a position at the back end of this set to have a real shot at points.
Fantastic take by Boselli there, Andy. And again, the kick chase for the Panthers found wanting as he made another 20-metre, but that's about his 3rd or 4th break that he's made off the kick chase. So alarming signs there for the Panthers on that last play.
A lot of field on this side, and he had a good look at it, the hooker. Now Brown, he takes a peek, likes what he sees. Thought about popping the ball back to the goal-kicking winger, Jade Anderson, who now moves into dummy half. Short side. Cuss just popped it up there. It was Ray Maroon. Good reflexes. Took it nicely. All of a sudden, the momentum shifts in favour of the Panthers. There may have been a question mark over the little offload there, and straight through the middle goes Brian too. And apart from the desperation of Olakau'atu, he was in some open space. Filo. Maroon into dummy half. We're midway through the count. Carl Winterstein is back into this game. Maroon. Sam Martin Savage. Pressure on Manly at the back. Boselli. No fear for his body. No concern for the opposition. Completely fixed on the football and took it like he had a mile of time.
Oh, he's easily been Manly's best today. He comes across there and scoops that one up left-handed. But the signs there for Manly were dangerous. They had rucks down through the middle. The Panthers, their outside backs. David too on this right edge. He's coming in, getting heavily involved. So, I'd like to see both teams push up on the ball, Andy. Not worry about the next play, especially the Panthers halves. I feel like they're standing a tad too deep.
Elliot Fatua. A good run and a pretty quick play the ball. As a result, Manly were on the front foot from that kick, and it sees Caleb Akins back into his own in goal. to retrieve the football. He's made it out past the 10-metre line. So a good return from the fullback. Both number ones have been good today as Paseka gets his hands on the much smaller Brian too. Maroon. Munchow.
You've got to have a feeling, Andy, this game's going to open up a little bit. Both sides playing that first-grade mentality, as you said, but there's just a feeling in this 20 system that the game will open up and some tries will be scored towards the back end.
You are 100% right. I get a massive kick out of seeing the transformation, also the mental transformation of these kids when they get into a game like this and they're playing with a great deal of maturity, playing sensible footy, percentage footy. I enjoy this type of game more than I do the points and the tries every 6 or 7 minutes.
Yeah, and that's what the first half was. It was a bit toing and froing.
Yeah.
No team had any resilience on their own line. For me, Blore, he's been impressive in the first half. He had some nice touches. The second half, I'll be a bit critical. His last play options haven't been great. He puts one dead there, so that's something that he'll get with maturity, as you speak about. He bombed a few, but I'd like to see him just pepper a corner, really turn the Manly Seagulls around, try and get his team on the front foot rather than try and go for the big play all the time.
And that is the one thing that we haven't seen, the strategic kicking game, late in the count, to force pressure on your opposition. We're seeing the forwards and the middle guys bash each other up, and we have done for 15 minutes, trying to get that advantage, but the real pressure begins when you're working it out from your own line, and the kickers maybe need a little rethink here as we go to right on this near side. The 21ers, Kiowa. Run from Samisi, another young man on debut. He's had an afternoon you'll remember for a long time as right goes to the air. It's pretty much gone straight across field. The big fella's got it and then gets dragged to the ground. Olakauatu. Oh, I thought he was guaranteed points there.
Olakauatu comes up with the ball. He had that hand out free, carrying it around like we saw right in the first half. It's another good set by Manly. They finish it, they're set down 10 out. They get the chance to fire up in defence. But you spoke about it, Andy. It's not just in the 20 system. There's some teams in first grade at the moment that are struggling with their game management. That's costing them. And you can see why they're in that position in the ladder. So it is a learning experience. You don't get it overnight. And I'm sure Blore will come up with a couple of plays, hopefully, at the back end of this game to help his side win.
Winterstone. Just a few metres short of the 40-metre line. Midway through the count here. Travelling across field, Mitravel. Keep in mind, both sides down to 16. We won't see Jermaine Hopgood again. I doubt we'll see Billy Bainbridge as downfield we go. A first bouncer there for Luke Polselli. Good acceleration back, and he was whacked by Tommy Skinner. The fullback quickly to his feet for the play the ball and the betterment of the team.
Well, that chase by Tommy Skinner, that's something that they needed in the first couple with Pacelli. You could feel that up through your sound microphones at home. But again, another patient kick from Martin Savage. We'll see what Manly will do now, whether they go back and forth. We'll see Anderson coming for a carry.
Batua. Ranu. To right. Pops it over the top. But a kick without the height to allow the chasers to challenge. And then the penalty on the back of it. And that may be the first penalty of the second half. My memory's not great, but I think it may be, and that, as a result, could be a massive turning point.
Yeah, and that was just back to my point, Andy, about game management. It needed to be higher there. It needed to give his chasers a chance. And again, Wright changed his mind. He wanted to run it. Someone said kick it because it was the last, so he comes up with sort of a half thought-through kick. He doesn't get a result and then gives away a penalty. So I'd like to see Penrith just push up on the ball, get their halves around, get Aikens, Martin Savage is being quiet, get off the back of this forward pack and throw something at this Manly defence.
The forward pack starting to do their thing, led by Winterstein, and now Izzard on this right edge. Ball goes back to Maroon, who was whacked by Tommy Wright. Playing wide to Dean Bloor. Now Sam Martin-Savage goes out to the winger, and Daniel Brown has spilled it on play number 2. Oh, that's a shocking one.
It was an early play there. Long ball, Martin-Savage goes out to Brown. And an early play error there from the Panthers.
We said Johnny Kafusi was out there on debut. An amazing story. This young man was in a car accident at Christmas, was in a coma. He has done brilliantly to be back living a normal lifestyle, let alone playing. He's been playing local A's at Colleton and Sydney Shield with St Mary's. He spoke to the team last night and what it meant to him to be debuting in the under-20s, and he was fine with it, but the teammates got emotional, choked up and teary-eyed. Fabulous story, John Kafusi, and today of all days, we hope you enjoy, we hope you celebrate, and we hope your family and your loved ones are sitting there with the greatest smile on their face ever, and that's win, lose or draw today, my friend.
Fantastic story there, Andy, from John Kafusi, and I've got goosebumps listening to it. So, as he said, all his family and friends will be happy watching at home. All they need to do now, the Panthers, is get the win for him and make it really memorable.
Here is Polselli, out to Andrews. Gee, there's a lot to like about this right centre for Manly. Good run from Blake again. Cade Cuss.
Oh!
Stop it. It was Johnny Kafusi.
Well, that man that you're talking about comes up now, and we see on the replay, lines him up. Oh,
yep.
And just gets him on the jaw, Andy.
Yeah, no, didn't miss.
We'll be kind there. He just gets him.
Just grazed him on the huckleberry. The Panthers are short on the near side of the field. If they come left, the Eagles, it's on. Paseka, the steamroller, is over the line, but again, the Panthers do brilliantly defensively. Taniela scored one, was disallowed one, and has been held up on a third. Look at the size of him next to little Ray Maroon. Ray'd need a step ladder to go chest to chest with him. And a knock on from Manly here. From a restart. Is that complacency? Is it confusion? What is it? After a restart where you've had time to set.
Well, the young man KO was on debut. I'm just going to say it's poor execution.
Yep.
Dummy half pass is especially important for outside backs because you find yourself in that position a lot, especially when the ball comes to the edges. So whilst we had an entertaining first half with points, this half's been a real grind. We're 20 minutes in now, both teams. There hasn't been many stoppages. They've got through their sets. No. That was a rare error from the Sea Eagles.
Hasn't been many stoppages. Has been 2 penalties and no points. Driving through the middle now is Mitch Ravel. Here's John Kafusi. A couple of metres short of halfway. Back to Maroon and on to Reid Izzard, who's taken more control of this football game and this football team over the last 10 or 15 minutes. Maroon, short ball, Ravel spits it out the back. Picked up by Aikens. He travels to his right, looking for some fancy footwork to get through a weary Manly line. But they were alert there, the Seagulls. The visitors lead by 8, and here come the Panthers. Bloor with a great bounce at the back, Polselli, and he was left really with no other alternative but to drop to the grass.
No, Polselli there cleans it up again for the Manly Sea Eagles. And you can see the Panthers, the urgency starting to creep into their game. They're getting up off their line fast. Izzard's moved himself in the middle when they've got the ball. But again, their halves are pushing up outside that. So when they create that second phase, they've got nowhere to go because they're all waiting for that next play.
John Tuivasa over the 30. Tom Wright plays it back on the inside to Samisi Kaioa. Great tackle again, Ray Maroon. 19th for the day, and downfield we go. Bouncing. Oh, Daniel Brown. Didn't that feel like an hour?
Well, I wasn't sure. I couldn't see over there whether the man bun had gone in front of his eyes, but he nearly found himself a way to touch his footy as it rolls dead in goal. So a crucial 7 tackles coming up for the Panthers.
Oh, that could have been all sorts of ugly.
We both looked at each other here in the box, Andy. We weren't sure what was going on as it took a bounce, and I'm sure we've seen enough footy to see the ball can bounce any which way at any time, and then it nearly bounced back to embarrass young Brown.
Munchow again, good. Here is Kafusi. Penrith playing to the left again. The large part of this game, they've ignored their right-hand side attack, and with Izzard and Blore, it's very much a go-to. Sam Martin-Savage with the grubber through. Again, the bounce is just about perfect for the Sea Eagles, and they work it out. Alfred Smalley doing his thing and getting back to the 20-metre line. The Eagles playing with 11 at the moment. Their left winger and left centre have just got to their feet, both of them struggling with cramp.
And another one that's just played the ball, Andrews, has gone down with cramp, so they need to get some of that pickle juice out there for the Manly Seagulls. But for the Panthers, they need to come to this right edge. As you see, a nice run through the middle. Get Izzard involved. Now get Brian Two involved. Get these guys out here some ball, because the game's on the line this next 5-10 minutes.
Writer's tackle on the 40-metre line. This is the final play here for the Eagles. They go back to their hooker for the last play option. Not the guy you wanted to. And a knock on for Manly there. And it was anything but what the coach would have hoped for.
Yeah, poor execution there on the last play, but we're seeing it's still a grind, still no points this half, Andy. 22-14, that was a half-time score.
Yeah.
Again, both teams just trying to get through their sets. There's been no adventurous play from either side to try and create some points.
Carl Winterstein. While there's no points, it's to Manly's advantage. Penrith have got to score twice. Haller. Maroon. Playing out to Blore. Oh, poor pass. Eventually taken by Izzard. Kicks on the 4th. And the kick held up. They're getting all the bounces. The Eagles. Jade Anderson taking it on this left side of the field as we go back down to the sideline with Emma.
It's good news for the Panthers, guys. Jermaine Hopgood has been cleared of any serious injury. He's moving about in the sheds, just still a little bit of pain in his lower back, so they'll monitor that over the next few days. But good news, it's nothing serious.
Yeah, thanks for that, Em, and that's great news for Jermaine Hopgood and the family and friends that are nervously watching on, but back up and moving about in the dressing room. Can his side get the victory in his absence? Manly tackled right on halfway on the last play. Right, downfield, but downfield and straight to Caleb Aikens. Their kicking game has not been a strength today. The Seagulls. There's a strength. Great run, Daniel Brown.
Well, they've got to get excited, the Panthers.
Yeah.
They've got to push up on the ball. We see now, great run by Brown. But this is where the halves need to get involved, get their hands on the ball, start going inside, outside, and you see Brian Two come infield looking for more work.
Two got away from 2 or 3. Maroon. In and around the ruck there. Sam Martin-Savage. This Manly defensive line, they are weary, but they're hanging on. Tackle number 4. Playing through Kenny. Out the back to Aikens. Didn't have the numbers there. Manly had too many defenders. Last play, out to the wing and denied as Brian too. Great defence, great awareness from the Eagles. Again, probably not the high percentage play from the home side.
No, 2 sets in a row, young Izzards. He's had a kick on play 4 and then right then gets in the dummy half. Bit of a brain explosion, but it's great awareness by the Manly winger, Anderson, who stays on his wing, makes a crucial tackle, because that easily could have been a try if he wasn't alert to what was coming down this short side, as Manly bring it off their own line now.
The Panthers have been in the last 2 grand finals. In fact, 3 of the last 4. They've won 2 premierships, and they have been the benchmark for a number of years. They're looking for their first win in a month. Still inside the 20 midway through this set are the visiting Eagles. A huge set defensively for Penrith. Great run from Fainu, ball out. Oh, and strip is the call here.
No, I don't like this one at all, Andy. I can see your frustration here in the box. We're going to see a replay. I think this was just a loose carry from young Andrews there. I think you've got to do better. As a player, you need to have some responsibility and hold on to that ball. You can't just let it go and then hope for a penalty.
I agree 100%. I think there's a real difference between a legitimate strip and something like that. In saying that, Adam Cassidy and Drew Altram, our 2 refs, have only blown 8 penalties. They've let the game flow. I'm not going to criticise and rip into them. And something that's made the spur of the moment. Here is Olakau'atu back to his centre partner, and Blake Andrews collects his second, and Manly should go on to win this. Still 10 minutes to go, 12-point game, and the first points in the second half. Wow, 30 minutes in.
Yeah, David Tangata won't be happy with that because it all comes off a tap. And there was a couple of second phase offloads here. For me, the main man, Farden, who comes in, he's just so strong out of dummy half. He beats 4 players there. Some really poor attempts from the Panthers defence. Offloads, gets it to Olakau'atu, and then finds our man Andrews, who you were speaking about before, his second try of the day. And pretty much, I would think, ices the game for the Manly Seagulls. They've earned it early on. The second half has been a grind. But some poor efforts here. They started on their 40-metre line and scored a try in the corner.
He had some work to do, didn't he, Blake Andrews? Like it wasn't, there's the ball, there's the try line, over you go. He had some work to do.
Yeah.
We haven't seen a whole lot of him. What we have, very encouraging.
It's been absolute quality. You spoke about him no less than 5 minutes ago of how good he does look out in that right centre position as we see Jade Anderson line this one up. Going for his 4th conversion today. It was a great finish. And it came at a crucial time because you felt the Panthers were sort of coming for them with their outside backs coming through the middle. But an important try for the Seagulls.
Big kick. And he's nailed it. Jade Anderson. Remember, that pushes it out to a 14-point game. In Holden Cup footy is 14 enough with 8 to go.
You would say so, although they usually do score points pretty quickly. I just can't believe we've had half an hour without any tries. I can't remember being sidelined for a game this year when that's happened, and I don't know whether it's just they tightened up in defence or the poor 5th tackle options, who knows.
Oh, there's still a chance. There's still a chance.
Well, the Manly box sitting next to us, Andy, there was a few high fives and smiles, but as soon as that ball rolled out there, they've all sat back in the seats and grabbed the walkie-talkies. You never quite know with 7 minutes to go, especially in the under-20s, what could happen.
Wayne Lampkin, their coach, a guy that has been around rugby league a long time, and a wonderful rugby league man and rugby league brain too. He's seen there, he's been it, he's done it all, and sometimes twice. But as a coach, you sit there and you're still banking away on the desk and throwing water bottles. You never get used to it. Izzard. Izzard dances, then is met in a tackle of 4. That is one thing Manly have done really well today defensively, is numbers in and around the football and slowing the ball carrier down here. They rolling Ravel onto his back, giving their defensive line more time to set. Haller, Martin Savage, heavy contact on the far side of the field. It needed to be because Tommy Skinner was looking for points. A try here makes it interesting. Haller winds it up and tries to muscle through. They've got 2 more shots at the line. They go out to Bloor. Martin Savage. Ball free. And for Manly, that should be enough.
Yeah, that really sums up Penrith's day. That set there, they had Bloor, Martin Savage working together, but just not on the same page in communication. They threw the ball to Martin Savage there. He just didn't have any runners outside him that were pushing in the hole. So, yeah, the Manly series look like they're going to hold on. Maybe a chance for another late try to finish unstrong.
As we said, Cronulla 3 points clear in first place on the ladder. Kyle Flanagan, the young halfback, 238 points so far this season. That's 13 tries, 93 goals. He is almost 100 points clear of the next top scorer. That's a hell of a season.
He might have to get out the record books,
yes.
Our stat guy, because there was a guy who played, I can't remember his name, in 2004 for the Roosters, who scored a fair few amount of points that year.
Oh, the computer's not working.
Right.
I think...
well, funny enough, Andy, I've got it as my screensaver on my phone. No. But look, yeah, Kyle Flanagan, I watched him play firsthand last week at Gosford. He is quite a talent. He's got a long way to go. I spoke to his dad, and he's got a long way to go in terms of growing into a man body.
Yep.
Because, as you know, halfbacks, they really need to mature as a man. But it's easy to put the weight on, but it's harder to get that game management, as we've seen today.
He's coming along very nicely. He's obviously dad played and coach at Cronulla. Thankfully, Kyle's more like his mum, though.
Yes.
And got a good head on his shoulders. He's scoring some points, the kid.
Just while we're wrapping this game up, Andy, you've got to give me a tip for next Wednesday night. Can New South Wales do it?
Absolutely.
That's what I think.
Absolutely, yes. And for a New South Welshman living in Queensland like myself, that's one of the dumbest things of all time to say. But no, I think it's going to be a hell of a game, and I can't wait like the rest of us. That is Wednesday night. Here come the Panthers with just under 5 to go. Playing out to the right-hand side. Akins still going and just fell short. Penalty here.
14, wait till they're behind you, mate.
Can't take the quick one. And Maroon is to restart. Here's Ravel, been really impressed with Mitch today. Got a little elbow to the melon. Funny the refs don't always like that. So a couple of penalties late here to Penrith. Here is Haller, hitting, spinning, and almost scoring. 6 players involved in that tackle from Manly. Surely there's room out wide. Izzard's trying to find it, and he's dropped the ball. It's been stripped. So 3 successive penalties here to the Panthers. Manly's defensive application, execution, and just want first class. And here goes Maroon playing wide. Just as we say that, the Panthers, they cross. Daniel Brown collecting his second with 3 minutes to go. And the Panthers racing back into position. They're not going to take long with this goal kick. They still think they're a chance, but this probably needed to happen 5 or 6 minutes ago.
Yeah, definitely. We see Martin Savage heavily involved, and that man Brown, I think he's been good today. He had a defensive lapse early on, lets his opposing winger score. We see Bloor line this one up. And again, well, he kicks that one straight off. Maybe that's a secret. He needs to just walk back and kick it Preston Campbell style, because his first couple of efforts earlier in the day haven't been that good, which could have been crucial at the end of this game.
Absolutely, an 8-point difference, just over 2 minutes remaining. And unless we get an 8-point try, or a possible 8-point try, I'd suggest this one is over, but I'm expecting we might see some enterprising and some enjoyable stuff from Penrith in this next passage of play as we check out Daniel Brown's second for the afternoon, 14 for his season. Well done to young Dan. Another good afternoon. Our two wingers on that far side doing the man bun thing today, flying the flag high for
it's still
the
around,
new age boys.
It's still around. You haven't had a man bun since the 60s?
Yeah, no, Mission Impossible on the top of my dome. And they just take it in the field of play. What's Penrith got with 6 tackles with the football remaining and 90 metres between them and the try line? Here is Ravel. 2 hit-ups. They can probably maybe afford one more before they're going to have to get the magic dust out and start sprinkling, because they need it with 90 seconds to go. Maroon. Dummy half. Back to Haller. Ball goes to ground. Sam Martin Savage not sure which way to go. Tries to run between a group of 3. Maroon. Laying out to Atkins. Izzard. Munch out. Couple of big right footsteps from Richie. He buckles under the pressure, and that is the final play, and they're yet to really throw anything significant at the Eagles. Up we go now from Bloor. Brown is there, takes it beautifully, flicks it back on the inside, and it is taken by Al Smalley. And that is Penrith for the afternoon.
Yeah, hopefully it's not a sign of things to come for first grade. We spoke about how important that clash is. But they've been better this half, the Seagulls, just defensively. They've really grounded out, only a couple of tries for each side, but they've really dominated, I guess, in terms of field possession and defending their own line. And in this competition, if you can defend your own line, you can go a long way to making the 4, the 8, and possibly winning the competition. And just so you know, I'm going up there to live out a dream next week. I'm going to the Caxton before the game, and I'm going for the Blues. Come on, the Blues.
And there is probably a better than average chance you'll bump into me at the Caxton. just saying. Full time here at Pepper Stadium in the NYC. Manly, the underdogs, 5 tries to 4, have defeated the Penrith Panthers 28 points to 20.